it can happen to you.
New warning about distracted driving.
It can happen to you within seconds.
Distracted driving is one of the biggest dangers on the road.
A blink of an eye.
And experts say texting while driving is the #1 distraction for drivers.
When you take your eyes off the road for just seconds, when you're driving your car, oh, yes, it can happen to you.
Light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you cannot hear my voice, I'll be right beside you, dear.
See, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When the sands of time will run out within your hourglass.
Light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you cannot hear.
He was a victim of a distracted driver, hitting the road while riding his motorcycle going 65 miles per hour. He nearly lost his life.
It's a potential deadly decision thousands of people make every single day.
Now on a crusade to help save lives and prevent someone else from becoming a victim, the creator of DistractedDriversBusted.com and now the host of this podcast, it's Howard Drescher.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast. You're listening to the DistractedDriversBusted.com podcast. I'm your host, Howard Drescher, the creator of DistractedDriversBusted.com. And of course, now this podcast as well. I created a reality TV show that kind of puts the perpetrator and the victim together for a better understanding. And for a better understanding of what went wrong, what they need to do to make it right, and how to prevent it from happening again. You can follow me on Twitter at DistractedDB or my own personal at HDrescher3. Of course, on Facebook, it's Distracted Drivers Busted, or my own personal again, Howard Drescher. Of course, you can always check out some of the stories that we have been posting on our website at www.DistractedDB.com. And of course, I've been doing this show now for probably 2 to 3 years. And you may ask yourself, why are you doing this show? Why aren't you doing a news story? Or why aren't you doing some rock and roll music? Or why aren't you talking political or something like that? Well, I got to tell you, the reason why I'm doing this show is because when you're riding down the road on a motorcycle and one, you get cut off by a lady and you nearly lose your life because she was a distracted driver. She was utilizing her phone, texting, weaving in and out of the roads, and hit me, and I hit the ground doing 65 miles an hour. Yeah, you know, it kind of turns your life upside down. And once it starts turning your life upside down, well, now you have a cause. And today's episode, I will tell you, deals with causes. Because I'm going to say something in this show, and I'm going to be very brutally honest about it. It's going to tick off a lot of people. It's going to get people going, well, who in the hell are you? Who are you to be so high and mighty? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm Howard Drescher, the creator of DistractedDriversBusted.com. I nearly lost my life because of a distracted driver. And there's something that's been happening each and every day. Matter of fact, I'll give you 2 or 3 cases in this show that had happened that I preach about all the time. And for every person who lost their family member, for every person who got hurt, injured, or killed, something nobody is doing for them But yet, you will do it because of you don't like who the president is. You will do it because you think the cops are bad. You do it because you got no other cause in life to fight for. And yet, it's not done for at all for anyone who is involved in a hit and run. It's not done for anyone when someone is killed by texting and driving. Find out what that is. That's all coming up later in the second and third segment. Because if I start my rant right now, I'm just going to totally go off in left field. And I need to be focused. Because you know who deserves me to be focused? All the people that are advocates against distracted driving. All the people that have been injured. They lost a limb. They're disabled now because of a distracted driver. Or worse, they've been killed. That's who needs me to stay cool under fire right now. So I'm going to stay cool under fire, but I will get my point across. Because, quite honestly, if you have no other cause in life, and you want to join a cause, and you want to be responsible, and you want to make America a safer place while you're driving down on the freeways, well, listen to this show today, and you will definitely find out everything that you need to know as when it comes to what's going to happen. Because these guys, they're a family. They're a family of a few. They're a family of people that nobody else understands unless you've went through it. Now, me, I'm fortunate. I went through it, but I survived. I ended up with scrapes and bruises. I had my couple fingers broken, but I lived. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people that do not survive a text and driving person that hit them. 2, they may be texting and driving themselves or taking selfies and they end up killing themselves. I've talked to a couple parents that where their child was doing that. I've talked to people who were innocent, just driving down the road, going to work. Just going to work. Or coming back home from work, and they didn't make it. Remember I talked about the sands of time? I've talked about this, the sands of time. Every person has an hourglass, and it's full of sand. Your sand may be full and you can drive and text around and act all nice and cool and you think you're hip and you think you're untouchable. You think you're invincible from any kind of destruction because you made it from home to your work or to the mall and back home again and you're texting and driving and you think it's all great. But unfortunately, there's some that the sands of time had run out. And either 1, they have ended up killing themselves, injuring themselves, or 2, it's somebody like you that ended up hitting them and killing them. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I do the show that I do. It's for all the victims out there. Now, again, I've said this many, many, many times. I am a lucky one. I am the lucky one that I survived. Think about it. 2010, I'd be dead about 6 years now. 6 years. That's 6 years of not enjoying Christmases. 6 years of not enjoying my birthdays, my family's birthdays, going to the movies, driving to work, enjoying my coworkers. 6 years of people that never would have came to face with me. 6 years of what the hell? Well, as I mentioned before, you drive down the road, 80% of the time you're going to look to the left and look to the right, and you're going to see somebody distracted. They're texting, they're eating, they're drinking, they're putting makeup on, they're doing all that crazy stuff. It just has got to stop. Now, let's just think about that for a minute. Now, if I paused for a whole minute, you would think, wow, it's totally dead silent. He's not saying anything. Well, I have a voice, and I'm still alive. So I'm only going to pause for a few seconds here. But you sit back and think, that's how it sounds if you're gone. Now you think about that. Just for that moment that I had paused, how many crashes happened? 2, 3, more? How many people might have been pulled over because they were texting and driving? Well, we don't know. But somebody knows. But you can rest assured that something happened. Just like that, someone's life can change. And I'm sure somebody's life did change. And did it change for the better? Did it change for the worse? We don't know. But you can rest assured somebody's life has changed. Are you starting to see that hourglass? Are you seeing today's show what I'm talking about? That something happens and nobody participated in a large group. And you want to know what that large group is? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that and much more when we come back on DistractedDriversBusted.com podcast. I'm your host, Howard Drescher. We'll be back in just a few minutes because remember, I don't want to die today. Do you? We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the DistractedDrivers.com podcast. We'll be right back.
Or lease rules in the morning.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
Hi, James. My mate Jules fancies you.
Don't.
Pass. It's not funny.
It's not even funny now.
Oh, let me just get his number.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Now, back to the DistractedDrivers.com podcast.
Welcome back to the DistractedDriversBusted.com podcast show. I'm Howard Drescher, the creator of DistractedDriversBusted.com. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at DistractedDBTV. And of course, I always like to throw out my personal one there at HDrescher3. And of course, you can go to Facebook at DistractedDriversBusted.com. Or, I'm sorry, you can go to Facebook. You can go to Facebook, Distracted Drivers Busted. Or you can go to my personal one at HDrescher3. Okay, hey, so anyways, let me ask you this. Are you comfortable knowing that the driver behind the wheel could totally destroy your day? What about your week, your month, or your life? Well, quite honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not comfortable at all with that. And of course, since I did my show the last time, and, you know, I tell you this every day, I see it, I hear it, I know it, I've lived it, and many, many other people have lived it too. Well, in just the last week when I did my show a week ago, I talked about hit and runs. And I've said to myself, okay, this is terrible that this keeps escalating. So this is the situation. Since I did my show the last time, and I'm looking at it this week, there have been 3 to 4. Now, one of them really bothers me the most. It really, really bothers me the most. It's because it's kind of a unique situation up in Florence, California, last Tuesday night. I did my show and I posted it last Tuesday. And this Tuesday night, the same night, a 5-year-old boy was hit and killed. Tuesday night, according to the authorities. The accident occurred on 82nd Street, Town Avenue, at around 5:15, according to the Los Angeles police. The victim, again, was 5 years old. He was taken to the hospital, but unfortunately, he had passed away. 5 years old, passed away. So here's the situation. This is going to be a kind of a two-parter situation, because here's what happens. The guy fled. And what we're going to do is listen to some audio from CBS 2. Pat Harvey kicks us off with this soundbite.
A 5-year-old boy is dead tonight, hit not once but twice, police say, by a driver who just kept on going. But some very clear security video may help catch that driver. CBS 2's Erica Mandy is live in Florence, where she talked to the boy's family. Erica.
Well, Pat, the family is devastated, and they gave us a picture of 5-year-old Ron. And they even left candles here on the sidewalk where this happened. Police say the boy was likely running across the street to his house when he was hit. The 5-year-old boy's family says his name was Ron. They lit candles on the sidewalk where he was hit.
Everybody's heartbroken, hurt. You know, it's real tough. The kid ran across the street without looking, and that's when the green Tahoe hit the kid.
Witnesses and neighbors are shocked and say this older model green Tahoe or Suburban struck a 5-year-old boy in the street and took off, hitting the boy a second time as the driver left. This security video was captured seconds later.
It's sad. Somebody that would hurt somebody like that and just flee the scene. It's terrible.
Investigators say the 76 or 79 green Tahoe or Suburban has back tinted windows and front end damage from the impact. They say the driver was likely going 40 miles per hour in a neighborhood with a speed limit of 25.
Really cold-blooded individual. I mean, regardless of the circumstances of the accident, he still has to stop and render aid to anyone who he strikes. But this is especially troubling since it was a 5-year-old.
Family has this message for the driver.
Just turn yourself in. That's all I can really say. Turn yourself in, and you'll have to deal with God for that.
It's unclear who was with the boy when this happened, but police say the driver was likely 19 to 25 years old and a man. Also, he had a passenger. They're asking anyone with information to call LAPD South Traffic Division.
I want to thank CBS 2 and Pat Harvey for kicking us off on that soundbite. And you know one thing I didn't see? I did not see, and again, this is the theme of the show, I did not see one person protesting about the hit and run. I didn't see one rally. More than that, more on this information here. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't see one protester. I didn't see anything. And that kind of disturbs me. But yet we're willing to go ahead and protest and have rallies. The president, he's not our president. Trump, he's not good. I didn't vote for him. I can't have him as my president. But yet a 5-year-old boy gets killed and everything, and nobody says a damn thing. Where are all you protesters? Do you want to protest about something that is valuable and something that is important? Look, I'm going to tell you, man, I used to do a political show back in the day. I've, kind of cut my ties with that a little bit, but today I'm going to bring a little bit of it in because I'm going to tell you, look, we went through the election process, and of course the election process has been around for many, 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 many years. Okay? Cell phones, texting and driving, selfies, and all that has not been around for many, many years. So I think if there's something that has to be changed, and if you want to protest something, well, one, if you didn't want Donald Trump to be the president of the United States, well, then you should have went ahead and everybody go out there and vote for the right people. But now that he's in the office, let's give the guy a chance. Now, that's the end of that discussion on that because now I'm going to move on. But now let's talk about when the cops go bad and there's a shooting or there's some cop beating up somebody. Well, there's protest about that. But yet a 5-year-old boy gets killed because of hit and run, and hit and runs are escalating right now to the point of like astronomical proportions, and yet there's not one protester. There is not one man or there's not one woman out there to say enough is enough. Why? Why aren't you out there protesting that? That's what I want to see. Let's get out there for every time that somebody, unfortunately, is killed because of a hit and run or killed because of somebody texting and driving. Let's get out there and start protesting that. And then maybe we'll have something to argue about and we can all get on the same page and we can end this epidemic or this tragic epidemic can't even pronounce the dang word. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's a tremendous tragedy that the boy got killed. It's not worth it. He has no chance to grow up. Now, I know his parents are probably grieving and everything, and I understand that. And I would too if something happened to my son. But quite honestly, to tell you the truth, no. We need to bring this down to the lower level and say, hey, enough is enough. You want to protest? Let's get out there and protest something that is real and legitimate. But you all get in your car and you get on your Facebook and Twitters and you act all cool. Tragedy will happen. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the DistractedDrivers.com podcast. We'll be right back.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I couldn't believe this happened to our family.
Why aren't people screaming from the rooftops that this is dangerous?
Because someone made one stupid mistake. I'm an only child.
I said, you've got to stop this. I said, you're going to have a wreck.
Now, back to the DistractedDrivers.com podcast.
Doesn't seem possible, but a heartbreaking story gets even worse tonight. We have learned the man arrested for a deadly hit and run that killed a 5-year-old boy is actually a friend of the family's. Tonight, KCAL's Peter Dowd is live in South LA, where a vigil was held just hours after police arrested the driver in this case. Peter.
Susie, that vigil for 5-year-old Ronald Neal was held here tonight outside his home. You could see candles, toys, and also signs for the boy they lovingly refer to as Butt Butt. His mother says the driver who killed him, a family friend.